Underdog is the leading place to make all your sports picks, and you can play now in your state. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog, and it's easy. All you have to do is download the app and choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats. You can choose strikeouts, total bases, or home runs, or go higher or lower on three-pointers or rebounds. You can play with as little as $1. If you get everything right, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. This week, I'm looking at baseball, and as usual, Aaron Judge is my choice to go higher on the stats that involve his hitting. Download the Underdog app or go to UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up with promo code GARAGE to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code GARAGE. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncp.gambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
If you're a parent or share a fridge with someone, Instacart is about to make grocery shopping so much easier. Because with family carts, you can share a cart with your partner and each add the items you want. Since between the two of you, odds are you'll both remember everything you need. And this way, you'll never have to eat milkless cereal again. So minimize the stress of the weekly shop with family carts. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Service fees apply. For 3 orders in 14 days, excludes restaurants.
We are rolling.
Common Surface Savings and Loan brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1553, May 30, 2025. It was 98 degrees on this day in 1934, and it was 37 degrees on the morning of this day in 1947.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
I suffered a major blow to my knack rating. I'm an excellent refinisher of wood. I can stain and varnish wood with the best of them. There's no explanation for that. I don't know why. But the finished product is always great. Getting there is a problem. I tend to. Well, anyway, yesterday.
What do you mean by it's a problem?
I make a lot of I make a mess.
Okay.
And yesterday I tipped over a can of varnish on my left shoe. And I want to tell you.
The ones you're wearing now?
Yeah, she's really shiny. This one's really shiny. Look at that shine.
Wow,
is that the odor I'm picking up?
I don't know.
Is it fresh varnish?
The laces are real stiff now, and the shoe is just shinier than hell.
So is it a system where you're going to have to do it to the other shoe so they match?
No, it's all right.
Why did you tip it over?
I klutz.
Oh.
You know.
Well, have you ever restored leather?
No.
Is it possible?
Are you asking for a friend?
I don't know.
Did you need
I'm
somebody?
asking Joe.
Oh,
I never have. No.
Did you need somebody to come test the dryness of the varnished?
I'm a professional at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I still have stuff with his thumbprints.
Wet paint. How wet is it?
Yeah. See, I got a really kind email from a guy named Carl Breakob, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He remembered me for some reason. He remembered me mentioning that I once had a teacher in high school named Ward Schuster. And I mentioned it on the occasion probably of one of the anniversaries of JFK's assassination.
Okay.
Because everybody remembers, well, you guys are too young.
Right.
But
Not me.
no, but John remembers, anyone my age remembers where they were when JFK was assassinated. That's not an exaggeration. Everybody, John, where were you?
I was in first grade at St. Joseph's grade school in Sister Javencia.
See what I mean? It's just, well, I was in.
You
I
don't
was
get none names like that.
I was a
anymore.
freshman, and I was in Ward Schuster's history class when Brother Lewis came across the announcer. Well, anyway, a guy sent me his obit. He was about 87. He had a long teaching career.
Well, he would have
taught
been
it-
really young, wouldn't?
Oh, God, yeah. He was a kid.
Fresh out of school.
Yeah. He had a long teaching career at Hill, at Cretin, and then 30 years at Wayzata High School.
What was his name?
Ward Schuster.
Our paths
Ward
didn't cross.
Schuster.
Okay.
No. So thank you for sending me that, Carl. I missed his ceremony. I don't know that I would have attended. I don't think anyone in the family would have remembered me.
It sounds like he had a good life.
Yeah. He had 3 daughters. I have 2 examples of irony for garage logicians.
2 examples of irony. Oh, wise one, yes.
First example of irony. Oh, boy. I think Jordy sent me this one. Star Harvard University business professor stripped of tenure and fired for manipulating data in studies on dishonesty. Francesca Gino, a celebrated behavioral scientist at Harvard Business School, was let go after the school's top governing board determined she tweaked observations in 4 studies so that their findings boosted her hypotheses. She was a professor of honesty.
You're not allowed to do that, are you?
No. Harvard did not detail the professor's firing or tenure being stripped, citing it as a personal matter, but said that the school had not revoked a professor's tenure in decades. No professors have had their tenure revoked at Harvard since the 1940s, when the American Association of University Professors formalized termination rules, according to the Harvard Crimson. So you got a lady there, Gino. She was teaching honesty and ethics and cheated on her stuff. And then the other example of irony.
Did you see, by the way,
Kelsey sent me this one. What?
Before you move on from Harvard, did you read the details of? Did you know that she's the first one to lose her tenure at Harvard in over 80 years?
I believe I just.
But my point is, that's worth noting. You got to tell me, in 80 years, we never had one professor.
Check it out.
That was worthy of losing tenure. Not one.
You mean to tell me?
You mean to tell me?
Lay it on down.
Here's the other one. 10,000 delegates take jets to the French Riviera for another UN climate conference. But they had to, because this was an emergency climate conference.
Ooh, with alarms and bells.
You had to get there. So 10,000 climate doomers jetted to the French Riviera, are jetting to the French Riviera next week for what the UN has called the latest global climate emergency meeting.
We must do something about this.
Harumph! A stern declaration is expected at the end of the gathering.
Ooh, a finger shake.
Stern,
A finger shake.
titled Third UN Ocean Conference, telling the world it must do much, much more and donate billions of dollars to save the planet as part of the anticipated. Are you ready for this title? This is all they could come up with? The UN Nice Ocean Action Plan.
Come on.
Nice ocean
Nice.
action.
They want the ocean to be nice.
Did they let a 6th grader decide?
I want it to be nice, too.
I agree.
Yeah. Conference Secretary General Lee Junhua told reporters this week it will not be another routine meeting, but the pivotal opportunity to accelerate action and mobilize people in all sectors and across the world. You ridiculous UN frauds, get out of my country. Give up that real estate in New York. You're a bunch of phonies. You've never accomplished a damn thing in your life. We're going to have 60 world leaders, dozens of ministers, 4,000 government officials, and 6,000 members of civil society. They're all going to jet to the French Riviera. Why couldn't they do it in some, pit stop somewhere?
Right.
Pick a town in Indiana or something.
Well, French Riviera, they're slumming it out there.
How is everybody? We weren't here yesterday.
Yeah.
I had an upset YouTube watcher that texted me at 12:05 and said, "What?
Somebody in
no
your family?
podcast?" Somebody that I've been pretty close to the last 40 years.
See, that's the thing. It's just your family, so that doesn't count.
Oh, okay. Got it. Sorry, Mick.
Right.
We'll make it up to you.
Wait. How did your wife not know?
Oh, this was
I thought I told
his
her.
kid.
No,
Wasn't it?
that was Mick. I thought I told her.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
She waited till midnight to tell you that?
No, it was.
He said 12 noon.
12:05 yesterday, noon yesterday.
Oh, I see.
Well, I was hard at work at the airport. Yes.
Wow. Did you guys
Anybody
picnic?
else in here have family members that listen to the show?
You guys picnic
no.
before or after the program?
Huh?
Picnic before or after the program?
That'll be Sunday.
Got it.
Depending on the weather and the smoke.
Can I say something about that?
Please do.
The picnic or the smoke?
I love Canada. I love Canada. I've been there many times.
Yes, Bob.
And I don't want Canada to ever think I'm on the side of them becoming a united state.
Sure.
You have a beautiful country. I love it.
You're pro-Canada.
I'm pro-Canada. But you idiots, you got to learn to do something about your fires. Because
That was the conversation I had with my wife
I'm
today.
tired of this BS
Yes.
that we have to smell your fire smoke every year. Put out your damn fires.
And you're clogging up the sun. So people that are sunbathing.
What the hell
or
is wrong with
picnicking-
you people? Put out your fires. You're like Gavin Newsom. Do something about it.
Let's go.
And this
Make
is
it a priority.
this is coming from a guy that's pro backyard fire in the neighborhood.
No, I'm not. Not at all. I think that's rude. I think that breaks the civil contract. No,
Wait. Stop. Having a little fire pit in the backyard?
Yeah, he does not.
He hates that.
in a dense, sustainable urban core like I live in, I think it's rude. I think it's
Okay.
obviously natural when you're
But
out.
wait a minute.
You have a little room.
You and I both have a solo stove,
Yeah, mine hasn't been used in 2 years.
but it doesn't emit any smoke. So what's the problem with that?
I didn't say there was a problem with the solo stove. It's when you throw on those wet branches in your...
Well, that's okay. That's key. Gabe has the ability to make a fire that doesn't smoke.
Okay.
Whenever I do, I just pile whatever on, and it's like a Canadian.
Can I get back to
I don't
Canada?
even know
Why
where
so
you are.
rudely?
You've gone off the track so many times already in 10 minutes.
I want to talk about Canada. The fires are directly above us in Manitoba, and if we get northwest winds, we're going to smell it all weekend. Okay, fine. A couple of years ago, it was so pronounced that it left grit on the finish of your car.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Well, you put out your fires.
Or
I got a lot of grit on the finish of my car without the fire.
Or maybe we should just put Gabe in charge of the Canadian wildfires.
Yes,
There
he'll
won't
build
be
a
any smoke.
Canadian wildfire without smoke.
Since we were last here, the Timberwolves were eliminated.
Soundly.
No surprise
That was
there.
not fun.
Nope.
Is Pat joining us today?
I have not received a.
Because if he is, I'm going to ask him a question. Because I've read in a number of sources that the Timberwolves need to they have to do two things to get to the title. I don't know what those two things would be.
Okay.
Do you?
I do not.
Does that mean two more people?
That would be my guess. Two.
How about don't turn the ball over?
That would be key.
And
I don't want to
Make
go
your
into
shots.
it. I don't want to go into it right now.
I know more than Pat.
I got a note from Carl in Northfield. He has a good point. I am 100% in favor of shutting down the state government. One caveat being no back pay when and if the government workers return.
Good luck with that.
The major part of our state budget is wasted anyway on fraud, corruption, waste, wealth redistribution, and handouts to illegal aliens. All that needs to stop. Warmest person regards, Carl Beer. Does that mean he's a warm person, or did he just forget the AL? But I agree with him. But they'll get paid.
That's just we all agree with Carl, but good luck making that happen.
Now, let's talk about fraud. It's not a new topic to Garage Logic by any stretch of the imagination. But this one's a bit unnerving, difficult, uncomfortable. I have a bishop charged with fraud.
I saw that.
Bishop Harding Smith was charged yesterday with one count of theft by swindle. and 1 count of theft of wages. He denies this, so do his lawyer. Smith is the president of a Minnesota nonprofit called Minnesota Acts Now. The acronym is MAN, which was under contract with local government entities, including Hennepin County, to provide violence interruption services. And I want to cut to the chase, so I'll tell you what the lawsuit contends, that the bishop skimmed money off the top and then was paying lower wages to his workers than was agreed upon. That's the argument. Apparently, he's alleged to have paid them $35 an hour, or he was supposed to have paid them $35 an hour, but he actually paid them less, according to the complaint. In total, in fact, Smith paid his employees about $150,000 less than he reported to Hennepin County, according to court records, which go on to allege that MAN, what's that the acronym for? Minnesota Acts Now, use the excess funds it received from the county for purposes not approved under the contract. Let's cut to the chase. It won't happen with Governor Cockwomble because he's not capable.
Right.
It won't happen with Democrats so present because they're not only not capable, they apparently don't want it stopped.
Will it happen when Ellison becomes governor?
No, it will continue.
Got it.
Here's how it would happen. First, you got to have a change at the ballot box. And 2, you need a guy. Guy can be a gal. You need a guy whose only job at the state capitol is to have an office. I see it behind kind of the frosted window, you know.
Yeah.
The guy. And he's got 2 stamps. One says no, and one says no, too fraudy.
Okay.
Just make up a word. It's too fraudy.
Okay. It's your fantasy.
And
Let's
the
go.
other says yes. And every time a nonprofit comes in,
sit down
with an idea for money, they got to go to this guy's office, and he grills the hell out of them. And he either stamps it okay or no, too fraudy.
Sketch. You
Yep.
call it sketchy. Sketch.
Yeah.
It's
Too
sketchy.
sketchy. Now, here's the problem. This violence interrupter program has problems no matter who we encounter.
Right.
It was too obviously set up for fraud.
Right.
It should never have been allowed. It's all the way up to the level of a bishop. A bishop. Now, maybe he's innocent, maybe he isn't, I don't know, but a bishop has been dragged into this. Accused of skimming $150,000 and then paying these stiffs who walk around and pretend to violate interruption or interrupt violence.
Right.
Or violate interruption.
Yeah.
Either one.
They claim, hey, he didn't pay us what he promised he'd pay us. This thing was a no-go from the get-go.
I just love that fraud also practices DEI. We let everybody in. Come on in.
You stamp that with a big no, too fraudy.
Is there a specific color designated to the 2 particular stamps? Is it a red color with no? That's what I'm saying, as in stop.
No, too fraudy is red.
Got it.
Okay is blue.
Blue. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, got it.
Blue. Yeah. That's my... Now,
Too
we got
fraudy.
a big Trump agency discovery of fraud. See this? The U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, says the agency is hyper-focused on ending waste, fraud, and abuse. A U.S. Department of Agriculture employee and 5 others are under arrest as of this morning after alleging misappropriating tens of millions of dollars in taxpayer food stamp funds. Food and violence interruption are one of your great, and buses. Your 3 kingpins are food, violence interruption, and school busing. Remember the busing fraud we got in Minnesota that you haven't heard a word about since we brought it up?
Autism didn't quite make the grand
It'll make
scale.
the cut. It'll make the cut,
Okay.
but it ain't in the top 3, I don't think. So now we got food stamp fraud. But don't worry, the Department of Agriculture is hyper-focused.
Haven't we always had food stamp fraud? That seems to me like it's been around forever.
Yeah, but I think the fraud was more contained to the recipient of the food fraud money buying stuff they weren't supposed to buy.
Right, okay.
That's different than not the money not even getting to them and being pocketed before it even gets to the woman who wants to go to the store and buy Fritos instead of grapes.
Right.
Which Fritos are WIC approved, are they not?
I have no idea.
Okay.
This is a new day, and President Trump promised as he was traveling across the country over the last few years that it would not be the government that we know. Well, I wish it wasn't. I wish it was a fraud-free government. So anyway, well, I'll be gall danged. You want to know the names of the charged? Boy, it must be a national sport. Mohammed Nawafle, Omar Al-Rawashede, Gamal Obed, Imad Al-Rashidi, and Alasa Davis are confused. Yes, they are. They are accused of conspiracy to steal government funds and to misappropriate U.S. Department of Agriculture benefits.
Does that get the foghorn? Misappropriate?
Huh?
Does misappropriate get the foghorn?
No.
Okay, thank you.
USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins says the agency unveiled one of the largest stings in its history, just like the food fraud here was the largest of its kind in the country. Now get this. What if it was this? Because in our scenarios we've concocted over the years, we always said, well, who was sitting in the USDA office in Washington, D.C., that took the request from funding from the Minnesota Department of Education? Why weren't they alert enough to say, wait a minute, we just got another request for billing from Minnesota. They want another $17 million because they've got a couple of agencies out there feeding tens of thousands of kids a day. Where were they to say, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense? Well, what if it was these guys?
Do you think there is a number? Is there a number, do you think, that sets off a...
Apparently not. If your number wasn't set off by Minnesota, it's not going to be set off. So what if it was these guys sitting in the Department of Agriculture in Washington, and they're thinking, whoa, so that's how they're doing it, huh? Maybe we can come up with a different scam. So what they did is that they sold confidential government information to the criminals she was supposed to catch, according to Arlasa Davis. She was in charge for the USDA of stopping this kind of thing. But what they did is they supplied 160 unauthorized electric benefit transfer cards to stores across the New York area to illegally process more than 30 million in EBT transactions. Wow. So their scam wasn't necessarily to pretend they had buildings full of food and they were going to go feed children with it. Mm-hmm. Their scam was to come up with these fake 160 fake EBT cards and give them to their people, and in exchange, those Department of Agriculture employees were getting a payback. They were getting a kickback from it,
which only lasts so long.
What the hell? And it was only discovered because the employee from the Department of Agriculture, who's supposed to be on top of this, betrayed the public trust. Because her name is Arlasa Davis, and she pulled it off, allegedly. It's a hell of a time we live in, isn't it? It's a hell of a time.
Why is there so much fraud?
Matt.
Call me now.
It's because...
Rookie at GarageLogic.com.
Matt, it's because there's just a countrywide decline in moral and ethical integrity from the top down.
Okay.
And I mean the top.
Tip top.
Like
Buck
an
stops
iceberg.
here.
Just like an iceberg.
It's just and they calling this now, just as we've discovered in Minnesota, they're calling this just the tip of the spear. Can you imagine what lives Americans would have if they had in their pockets all the money that's been stolen from us? Can you imagine?
Including the $18 billion?
Yeah. Can you imagine the lives Minnesotans would have? Or Nebraskans or Montanans or North Dakotans or Iowans or, Wisconsinites.
Hawaiians.
I feel they need to play the role of Mr. FYI.
Yeah.
Isn't a sphere round?
A
Not the
spear.
tip, you moron.
Spear.
S-P-E-A.
I thought you said sphere.
No, I said
No,
spear.
he said spear.
I said spear.
Because I was thinking the iceberg.
We can't play it back anymore, can we?
I can't until I take a break. After you do this fine ad read.
Well,
I thought you said
The tip
sphere.
of the sphere in Vegas?
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
You got about $6,000. You can sit in the tip of the sphere.
Say, winter's over. Maybe it's taking a toll on your garage door. You want to tighten her up for summer, quiet it down, have it checked out. Maybe you need cable replacement, spring replacement. Get a hold of Precision Door MN. They serve Western Wisconsin, the entire metro area of the Twin Cities. They're crackerjack. They let you know when they're arriving. They get there on time. They get the job done. It's Precision Door MN. And if you need a new door, they have models for every budget. And they send out a designer, and that consultation is absolutely free. And think of the aesthetic improvements, the insulation improvements, the security improvements. And if you get a new door now from Precision Door, they're throwing in the motor that runs the door. That's a value of more than $760. Book online at precisiondoormn.com or call 612-263-6985 and schedule your free on-site new door estimate. This is Ricey. You've been hearing my friend Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, for years on the radio and the Garage Logic podcast. With summer coming on, I strongly recommend you sit down with Josh for your no-cost, no-obligation, 48-minute consultation on your investments, including your IRA and 401k. You can benefit from Josh's years of experience navigating different market and economic conditions, and he'll always give you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice. Give Josh a call now at 952-925-5608 and book your no-cost, no-obligation 48-minute consultation. 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did meet with Josh, and tell him that Ricey sent you.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
I was at it again this morning, checking KBID, this time looking for skid loaders, checking out all the brands, the years, the hydraulic flow, the hours, engine options, and of course, checking prices. There's a pretty good chance you'll find whatever you might be looking for on KBID. By the way, that's k-bid.com. And if you're new there, if you haven't been there before, you're soon going to find out that perusing KBID is way more fun than doom scrolling anything on social media. KBID.com, in case you don't know, it's the online auction venue where you can bid on just about anything, from business liquidations, estate sales, real estate. They've sold it all. They've sold brand new airplanes. They've sold old dish sets. They've sold a chair. They've sold skid loaders. You name it, they've sold it. The best part, KBID is free and it's super easy to register. Just head to k-bid.com, create that account, and then start bidding, buying, and then bragging to everybody about the amazing deals you scored. It's really that simple. I've been a KBID guy for years now, and I love checking out the online auctions. It's k-bid.com, KBID, where the next great deal is just a bid away.
Are you guys aware of the story of a young woman planning to go into the Marine Corps who was kayaking in a lake in Texas and was killed by a jet ski?
Oh, yeah.
She was run
Yes, I did
into.
hear about that.
Well, she was basically run over by
She was run over by a jet ski driven by an illegal
Yep.
immigrant. And apparently there was a guy on shore who also was illegal who drove her away from the scene. She races back to shore with the jet ski and says, apparently we got to get out of here. And he takes off with her, crashes into a number of cars as they're fleeing, and apparently they were arrested. I have a couple of questions. Apparently they entered illegally under the Biden administration, but were cleared. I don't know what that means. They got to stay here. Well, wouldn't you presume that they were destitute when they got here?
You'd think.
Okay, so I'm hung up on the fact that where did they have the time or the money to go jet skiing? Maybe that's neither here nor there.
I didn't even think of that.
I would imagine maybe they rented the jet ski for a day. And
Okay, probably, yeah.
And the second thing I want to know is how do you phrase this? The Twin Cities has been put on notice. The Twin Cities are among the sanctuary cities which have been put on notice by the Trump administration, which says a formal notice will be sent out in the coming days stating that the Twin Cities are non-compliant with federal law. Because both the Twin Cities have mayors who have defied this order by the Trump administration.
And an attorney general.
Right. The list was published yesterday by the Department of Homeland Security in an executive order, which is demanding that the cities revise their policies to comply with federal rules. In January, the Minneapolis Police Department said it was standing by the city's immigration policy after a memo was issued by the Department of Justice saying the investigations could begin against both state and local governments if they don't comply with the updated federal immigration policies. I'm reading from a report by our people downstairs, 5 Eyewitness News. Police Chief O'Hara clarified his officers cannot ask about a person's immigration status except for certain cases such as human trafficking. The city of St. Paul adopted a separation ordinance in April of 2004. Mayor Melvin Carter said, well, he wasn't the mayor in 2004, but we apparently have had an ordinance since 2004. We've never had the job. Excuse me.
May the good Lord bless you.
We've never had a role in enforcing federal investigation laws, nor asked for papers as a condition to receive city services, and we never will. Then in February, both cities joined a lawsuit against the Trump administration over immigration enforcement. The lawsuit is led by the city of San Francisco after the administration threatened to withhold funding from sanctuary jurisdictions. In April, a federal judge barred the administration from denying or conditioning the use of federal funds to sanctuary jurisdictions, saying that the portions of the president's executive orders were unconstitutional. So I guess this judge would rule that expecting the Twin Cities to suddenly comply would be unconstitutional. That, if nothing else, that just sets up another revenue stream for fraud, supplying illegals with money. You can imagine how that fraud might work.
Right.
Kenny, what county do you live in?
Douglas. I'm one of the good counties.
Your county did not make the list.
I know. That was the first thing I checked.
Here are the counties in Minnesota that are not complying with Trump: Anoka, Carver, Cottonwood, Goodhue, Hennepin, LeSueur, Lincoln, Lyon, Martin, Nicollet, Nobles, Ottertail, Pipestone, Ramsey, Scott. I did say Hennepin, didn't I? Ramsey, Scott, Stern, Steele, Todd, Watonwan, and Wright. So there are many counties in Minnesota that are welcoming. Where do our sensibilities lie? What is the end game of cities like Minneapolis and St. Paul and San Francisco? What is the end game that we're enduring here with this open door policy? Come on in. That's what's holding up the budget in the state of Minnesota. Is the Democrats want to pay health care for all illegals? Okay, what help me, because I don't understand. What is the end game supposed to be?
I don't have an answer, but I have a question that could cause even more confusion. Mm-hmm. Among the Trump supporters that voted for the president that employ a lot of illegals.
That's where I was going to go, Ken.
I would love to talk to them right now. Because it can't be cut and dry. It's not a clear line for them. How do they feel? What do they want the president to do?
Because, Ken, here's exactly where I was going to go, exactly through your line of thinking, because I'm not going to name the county specifically, but one of those counties that you mentioned, which is nowhere near the country's tallest buildings, has a very large operation that does require a lot of...
Well, you can name the businesses. It's big farm operations, turkey farmers, chicken farmers, food processing places. They're usually independently owned, but they fall under a big, giant national corporation's name.
And
you know what I mean?
And they happen to be operating in one of those counties that really needs the help and the
really
work of...
desperately need them.
Because the
I can bring it right to my yard.
What?
Well, sure.
I called a guy to do some certain kind of work, and he says, we're really behind because we haven't gotten our Mexicans here. That's what we call them. We haven't gotten our Mexicans here. Yep. Now we're getting them here. I can only imagine that he's doing that legally. I don't know. But I know some of his Mexican guys. Sure. I've gotten to know them over the years, and now they're coming. I don't know. Maybe they go home in the winter. I don't know. But now they're back, and he says, yeah, we can squeeze you in between big projects, blah, blah, blah. My point is that do you think that the Democrats in the Minnesota House are worried about do you think they want to violate Trump's rules on behalf of the people who work for people who probably voted for Trump?
Do I want to? Hold on.
Sounds like that little kid question. Do you want to?
Well, what Kenny said? You got the big farm operation, and they need workers.
Right.
That big farm guy probably voted for Trump. Do you think the Minnesota House is thinking of the big farm operator when they're trying to provide medical benefits to all illegals?
No, they're only in opposition of President Trump.
Right. So I don't know where we are on this.
I don't even know where I'm at on this, to be honest. Because you mentioned the workers that were coming to your house. I lived in South Minneapolis, 2 houses down, was about 20 Mexicans living in a house. And these people were the salt of the earth. They worked 12-hour days, and they came home and worked on their own crap. The only time I saw them ever take a break was on Sunday afternoons, when they do the fiesta thing.
You got to have a siesta.
And they were awesome neighbors and great citizens. And I don't think any of them were legal. So I don't know how I'm,
But they're the only people that are willing to do these tasks.
Right.
But why wouldn't you sign up and become legal?
I think at its deepest level, the wishes of San Francisco, Minneapolis, and St. Paul, and other cities, they have, it is an aspect of the mystery. Mysterians don't believe we should have a country. They believe in the dismantling of what we know as the United States. We're going back to the founding. They claim as they're teaching this in the failed academy. The founding was unfair. It's too patriarchal. Why should we have a country? What is fair about that? That is at its deepest level of activism. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you could find people behind the move. You could find many legislators in this state who I believe that's how they're operating. They're operating from that ideology.
You got to get over that.
They're operating from that ideology. It's not fair that you get to have a house and you work for a living and you have a car when Pedro here doesn't. I believe that's at the heart of the mystery. Am I right or wrong?
I think you're right.
I think you're right.
I have
think
no
it's
idea.
sad. And you know what? They got to get over that crap.
And the truth is that human beings in other societies, whether it be Africa or Colombia or El Salvador or wherever, what they're victimized by is not America's unfairness. They've been victimized by their own corrupt governments. They don't have a government in place that has cared enough about that country and that country's population to see to it that runs smoothly. Do you think a kid, these Mysterians look at a kid walking on the street in El Salvador and they're saying about him, he doesn't even have shoes. Do you think that's what the kid's thinking about? No, he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have a school. He doesn't have a government. That's not our fault.
Okay.
So is the end game we're supposed to repair all that damage in the world?
Where is the Garage Logic version of the GLer of Somalia or Ethiopia?
There isn't one.
Why?
Well, if there is, he or she is voted down by corruption.
It's like the Sam Kinison thing. Get your act together.
Move to where the food is.
Right.
You should probably make a distinction there in the vast differences between these countries and these illegal immigrants. These guys coming up from Mexico to work put roofs on houses for 12 hours a day in the hot sun. Well, why are they so bad?
No one's saying they're bad.
Yeah. So why can't we fast track them, like Matthew was saying, get them documented, get them papers, let's go here.
And how do you call the massive influx? How do you call them from somebody who's just going to rent a jet ski and let his girlfriend kill somebody?
Exactly.
How do you call the crowd?
I have no question, no answer for your question.
How do you call the crowd from the guy who is going to kill some co-ed when she's out jogging?
Right.
I mean, we're fully capable of. We have plenty of Americans who would do that. Unfortunately.
It starts with the borders, right?
Yeah.
And we go from there.
What do you call the problem?
What do you mean?
What do you call the problem?
I call it an inability. Call.
You were using a fancy word.
Call is the word.
Yes, call.
Who do you call from this program right about now?
Right.
Him, and him, and him, and him.
I would call them all.
Call me now.
Yes.
It's always been my recommendation to fire all of us, and you do this alone.
Starting Monday, call me now.
Yes. Thank you.
Cull, C-U-L-L.
Yes.
You cur.
say call, I say call.
Yes.
It's call, you cur.
Directly.
Yes. What do you
Thin
got
out.
for us? What do you got for us?
Separate.
Yes.
Call.
You fancy word.
It's not a fancy
Yeah,
word.
It was like your
Jeez.
It's only
fancy
4
words.
letters, Rook.
It's
Come on.
nothing. It's call. It's an easy
Say
word.
it.
But I love the eyebrow look from like, oh, come on.
Yeah, sure.
Use
Call.
a real
Here's your
word.
call right here. I got some coal for you.
Crow Wing County didn't make the list. All right. Yeah. What county you in?
Scott.
Scott.
We're on the list.
You made the list.
So did Carver.
Yeah.
my previous
I
residence.
was trying to figure out why ottertail made the list.
Ottertail.
There. I can smell ottertail from my front step.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
It's a lake or two.
Don't they have? Is it a
No,
lot?
ottertail's huge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
isn't
it's a
it?
gigantic?
Has it
county.
got any
Huge
cities
town.
in it?
Yeah, a number of.
Dent.
Dent. What's the biggest
No,
city
you
in
know,
Ottertail?
no, you know what it is?
Detroit Lakes?
Pelican Rapids and
Pelican
Perham.
Rapids.
I'm not joking.
Perham. Yeah.
Well, that's not exactly
Fergus.
closest to the country's tallest.
What did I just say?
Can I tell you
5
something else?
minutes
Can I
ago?
tell you something else?
Not really. We got to.
I know.
Not
Don't worry
really.
about it, Reavers.
Not really.
Listen to this.
How come you didn't ask me what county I'm in?
I don't care what county you're in
Hey, the
because I
biggest
happen
city.
to know what county you're in. You're in
biggest
Dakota.
Stop following me.
The biggest city is Fergus Falls, 14,000. Then it's Perham down to 3,000.
What county? Here's a good one. What county is Bemidji in? Staff?
I'm looking.
Not
Is
it.
that with an I or
Boy,
an
I'd
E?
cull a lot of you.
Give
What
us
county
2
is
seconds.
Bemidji in?
It is in Beltrami County. It's not on the list.
Should be. Listen to this. Help, the Mysterians have made it to Bemidji. I'm not sure how they made it away from the tallest buildings. Possibly some Californians stuck in. The Beltrami County... I answered my own question, didn't I?
Yeah.
The Beltrami County Historical Society has designated this week as Menstruation Health Week.
Wow.
Not sure what that has to do
Is
with
that with
history.
an E or an A?
The website states, join us for Menstruation Health Week, a community-powered campaign to break the silence, fight stigma, and advance period dignity for all. Further,
Time
what
you guys
we're-
want to head up.
what we're doing this week is packed with powerful programs from author talks and research panels to product drives and community dialogues. Product drives, like a convention of new products. You know, what can you use? Together with our partners, we're tackling menstrual inequity head on, highlighting real stories and real solutions. Justice, your correspondent from Pulaski, Minnesota. What the hell? Well, I can see this in Minneapolis or St. Paul, but it's funny that it's in Bemidji.
Do they need any keynote speakers? Joe, you and I could go up there and tell these women how they should act when they.
The first
when
thing you
On
got to
Flow
do is
comes to
calm
town.
down.
Yeah. Settle down here a minute.
Look here, Red Wings. Just chill out.
You want a fun fact for Bemidji?
No, I
No,
want to
I
break.
don't.
It's geography related.
Okay, quick.
The largest earthquake on record for the Bemidji area was recorded on September 3rd, 1917. It is claimed that it shook houses in Bemidji and across northern Minnesota. The epicenter was 95 miles away in Staples, and it affected an area of 48,000 square miles, a magnitude of 4.4.
I want to talk to you about Bradshaw and Bryant,
Hold
personal
on.
injury attorneys.
I just realized we can't go that weekend, Joe. We're scheduled to be kicked in the crotch that weekend, so we cannot
Oh,
attend.
Okay.
That's not very equitable, is it? So. Insurance companies and adjusters can be tough to deal with, so having Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers, on your side is a great benefit. They'll explain your rights, represent you, help you in a tough time. That consultation, that initial consultation, of course, is no charge. For 6 consecutive years, Mike Bryant has been recognized as a super lawyer, and he's been named among Minnesota's top 10 personal injury lawyers by Minnesota Law and Politics, and that's the Bible. Bradshaw and Bryant hope you're never in an accident, but if you are, call Bradshaw and Bryant at 800-770-7008 or go to minnesotapersonalinjury.com for a free case evaluation. And Bradshaw and Bryant does not want you to be part of the problem. Don't text and drive or drive distracted. That's just common sense from Bradshaw and Bryant.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Hey, today, I don't want to make you jealous here, fellas, but today I received a gift from a girlfriend, the gift of porn, specifically lawn corn. The ProTurf guy showed up at her house this morning for a treatment. She took a photo. In the background, you can see it parked on the street, the ProTurf truck. And in the foreground, the most thick, luxurious and luscious, all the L words, lawn in all of Anoka. Absolutely beautiful. Angie and her husband, Mr. Angie, they've been ProTurf customers now for 2 years. And just like we've promised them, they have had the best lawn in the neighborhood since then. And it all started by logging on to professionalturf.com and then signing up for the free lawn analysis. The service tech, they came up with a concoction of granule and liquid weed killers and fertilizers that got rid of all the weeds and filled in that lawn nicely. We'll pause here so I can turn my microphone off and hack and cough.
I can attest to the fact that ProTurf kicks green butt.
Me too.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Matthew and John.
Yes.
ProTurf, they've been at it since the early 80s, so they've learned a thing or two, and they definitely are the best in the metro. We've all had them here at GL. If you're tired of your pathetic, scrappy-looking patch of weeds, log on to professionalturf.com. Start snooping around. You're going to find out that ProTurf also does exceptional landscaping work, and they can also service your irrigation system. That beautiful lawn, it's just a click away. professionalturf.com.
Here's John Heidt in his newsroom.
Thank you, Joe. This news is brought to you by North American Banking Company. One sports note, the Vikings announcing this morning they've extended the contract of their GM, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. Details on the extension, including pay and length of the new contract, were not made public by the team this morning. During his tenure, the Vikings have achieved two 13-plus win seasons, 2 playoff appearances, and the team's first division title since 2017. Minnesota's regular season win percentage of .667 during the last 3 years under Adolfo-Mensah, and head coach Kevin O'Connell is the 6th highest in the NFL. In news, the State Patrol investigating a crash on Interstate 94 at the Lowry Tunnel in Minneapolis. The Minnesota Department of Transportation says I-94 closed in both directions due to what the agency is calling a serious crash. We're a podcast, of course, so we're recording this at around noon, 1 o'clock, and they're not saying they're not going to reopen it probably until late this afternoon.
Eastbound 94 is already open.
Oh, well, see, I'm already...
They got the debris out of the eastbound lanes, but now they're pulling the semi backwards out of the tunnel to get it out of there. It's completely destroyed.
Okay. It was hauling ammunition.
Oh, my God.
Really? It hit the wall and then rolled over.
It didn't blow up?
Oh, you guys. Jesus.
Huh? Ricocheted bullets flying around?
Don't bite, Kenny. Don't bite. Don't bite. Kenny, you nailed it, though, with your tweet about this. I'm sorry. I have a father and 2 brothers that are semi-drivers. You asshats that have a Class A that should not be behind the wheel, stay home. Stay home. Stay out of your semi.
What are you suggesting? He took a curve too quickly?
Well, you think? We have some of the worst semi-drivers on the road. And no one hates really bad semi-drivers than really good semi-drivers.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so bad.
Yeah.
The driver in this case is said to have non-life-threatening injuries. No other vehicles were involved in.
Was he shot?
What happened to the bullets?
Yeah.
I made a tweet out.
A lot of people over there is picking up bullets.
I made a tweet out, and I wasn't very nice to the driver. And the first reactions I got were from people saying, well, we don't know what the condition is of the driver, and that's very crass and unprofessional. Why are you? I've been doing this for a long, long time.
Right.
So I listen to the scanner. You know, I check with my sources. I got secret websites I go to. I knew the condition of the driver before I made my outrageous little tweet.
Yeah. And it's always that stretch of the highway and also the roundabouts on 494 are the ones where these guys tip them over every time.
Yep.
Testimony underway in the jury trial of Derek Thompson. He's accused of causing a crash that killed 5 young women nearly 2 years ago. A 29-year-old Thompson charged with 5 counts of criminal vehicular homicide for driving in a grossly negligent manner, 5 counts of criminal vehicular homicide for causing the crash and then leaving the scene, and 5 counts of third-degree murder. There are 3 counts relating to each victim's death. Prosecutors started by describing the 5 victims: Sabarine Ali, Sarah Gassadi, Salma Abdi Kadir, Sagal Hirsi, and Siham Adam as kind and strong people who cared about their community. Today being the first day of testimony, his opening statements were made yesterday after 2 days of jury selection. Testimony began with Andres Guerra, the state trooper who tried to pull Thompson over after he was clocked going 95 miles an hour. Jurors were shown body and dash cam footage of the SUV speeding past Guerra's squad vehicle and the trooper responding to the crash. Thompson has previously pleaded not guilty to the state charges. He's already been found guilty on federal charges related to guns and drugs that were found inside his SUV after the accident.
We don't have the death sentence in Minnesota, do we?
We do not.
Okay.
No. A big oops in my home state of North Dakota, and it might be a costly one. One of Governor Kelly Armstrong's vetoes was a mistake. The Republican governor's line item veto accidentally eliminated $35 million for housing and homelessness assistance when it was intended to eliminate only $150,000 of a pass-through grant to fund a homeless liaison for a Native American organization. Armstrong has asked North Dakota Attorney General Drew Wrigley for a legal opinion on whether it's the governor's objections reflected in the message or the actual visual pen marks on the bill that satisfies the constitutional requirements of a line item veto. Lawmakers could also consider a standalone bill that restores the $35 million in funding. A special session probably will happen, it looks like now, and it usually takes about 3 days to pass a bill. $65,000 a day. So $195,000.
Just money, baby.
What? To
Just
fix
money.
the governor's error.
You know what I think about homelessness? You know, I realize a lot of it's driven by drug addiction. I get that. But let's say you're just homeless for the hell of it.
Because you're bored?
Yeah. Why in the hell would you be homeless around here, much less North Dakota?
You mean head south?
No offense to North Dakota, but you have all the freedom in the world. You can be homeless in some of the nicest places in the world. Why would you pick here?
So true.
I would go to a nice place.
Like California.
Palm Springs.
Maybe Palm Desert.
Okay.
Key West.
Okay.
I don't know. There's a million places where I'd pick.
But boy,
the world's your oyster. If you're just homeless for the hell of it, don't be homeless here.
Yeah, but this time of the year, it's pretty nice to be homeless here.
You got to be able to get out. You got to move on.
Okay.
Where would you keep your golf clubs, Joe, if you were homeless?
That's the problem. Move to where you can just rent the clubs.
Okay.
You know, just rent a set every time you wanted to play.
All right. That's a great idea. We should write these down.
Well, in the fine film Happy Gilmore, he hired the homeless guy to be his caddy, remember?
I just don't understand why you'd be homeless here. Be homeless, some other place where it's nice.
Got it.
Much of northeastern Minnesota remains under air quality alert today, while a second alert covering the northwestern part of the state goes into effect tomorrow. In both cases, the alerts, as we heard earlier, come as smoke from Canadian wildfires filters into the state, making the air unhealthy.
Yeah, put out your fires.
The smoke contains fine particles that can cause harm to respiratory and cardiovascular systems. The alert covering Cook, St. Louis, Lake, and Carleton counties in northeastern Minnesota will be in effect until 6 o'clock this evening.
Now, John, would this smoke fall under the category of smoke from a distant fire?
I think it would.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
And a Minnesota-based food company is recalling thousands of pounds of canned beef stew. The United States Department of Agriculture says the cans of Dinty Moore stew produced by Hormel Foods could possibly have wood fragments inside.
I know what you guys are thinking, that, I bet that hillbilly eats it right out of the can, standing in the kitchen, doesn't he?
Wood shavings and all.
I do not endorse stew of any kind. Okay,
I like
stew
a good
is
stew.
not a meal.
I like a
like
good
stew?
stew.
No.
And I had I lived for a while on that Dinty Moore back in the day. I like that Dinty Moore.
No,
Nice
that's
beef
not
stew.
a meal.
That's a nice beef stew.
I better check in with Bob, make sure that's not on the shelf, huh?
Yeah.
I don't want to eat wood chips, but
Okay, Yul Gibbons.
Yeah.
The cans were shipped across the country, including here in Minnesota. They have a Best By date of February 2028.
and a lot coat. Yeah, I know.
Okay, right there.
I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into
That's
it.
post-apocalyptic.
What kind of nuclear waste do they put in there?
3 years after all life on Earth is gone.
Don't worry, your Dinty Moore will still serve you well.
Even better, I'm picturing the guy that's at home and he's like, Mom, this stuff's expiring next week. We got to eat her up. It's been on the shelf for 4 years.
2028.
Yeah.
God.
The recall notice says there may be an additional number at the end of the lot code, which is T02045.
I'm going to check when I get home.
3 consumers have reported pieces of wood in their project, but no injuries. Luckily,
In their project.
did I say project?
Yeah,
in their
you said project, which
I'm
I liked.
sorry.
It was fine.
In their product. Luckily, no injuries have been reported. Why don't we?
I got you, Johnny.
I got to run upstairs and make some stew.
When you want to wash down that
You ever
Dinty
have
Moore beef
goulash?
stew,
You ever have
of
goulash?
course. Who hasn't had goulash?
You got a good goulash recipe?
There's no comparing goulash to stew.
It's very similar.
homemade.
Oh, my goodness.
What is the matter with you?
Why, it's similar.
No.
You
They're
get
not
your
even
carrots
close.
in there, meat, and
There's
You
no
are
carrots
so-
in goulash.
You
There
are
was.
close. They're not.
You're a very frustrating person some days. my
Goulash
friend.
is noodles, sauce.
I never eat it with noodles. No noodles.
Well, then
What?
it's not
Then it's
goulash.
not
It's not
goulash.
goulash. Yeah.
My grandmother made goulash. It was pretty damn good.
Out there in the sod hut, out
Yep.
on the plains.
The sod
Was
hut
that
grandma's
fancy
the
grandma
one
or
who,
grandma
the
shoes?
sod hut grandma, the sod hut grandma.
Okay.
We good?
Not grandma fancy.
When you want to wash down that goulash, how about Hofferman water?
There it is.
Right now is the time, by the way, because you've got, when's the 1st? That's Sunday, right? You got
Yes.
2 days left, ladies and gentlemen, to take advantage of the anniversary sale going on through the end of May, and my sources tell me that's tomorrow. So update right now with Hofferman Water and Connecticut. Here's the details, because it's only going on through the end of the month of May. $400 off. A K5 reverse osmosis system. A free A200 drinking water system with the purchase of a Premier Series softener, and half off basic installation for any new 1-year rental contract. There's no better time to upgrade your water than during the Hoffer Water Falling Down Water Anniversary Sale happening right now through the end of the month of May. You can enjoy great deals on Connecticut water systems, including special offers and 0% interest, same as cash financing with approved credit. But you got to get on the schedule and have them come out for that free water analysis. So do it today. Book your appointment online at HoffermanWater.com or just give them a call directly. 612-825-2440. Let me make sure that number's right. 612-895-2440. Or like I said, go to HoffermanWater.com. You go to that website, by the way, you can see every single water treatment system that they have to offer. But like I said, you just got a couple of days left to take advantage of that anniversary sale. Hofferman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years. Please do me a favor and mention that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast.
So if you're looking for a ray of hope, look no further than Minnesota's Freemasons. For years on GL, we've been sharing you the great things Minnesota Freemasons do. They do really big things like donating over $6 million annually to support cancer research, aging studies, and children's communications disorders, and scholarships to dozens of high school students each year. The 8,000-plus Freemasons in Minnesota working together to make the world a better place by focusing on the core values of friendship, personal development, helping those in need. And Minnesota Freemasons are helping mentor the next generation with a really exciting initiative, the Civility Project. The Civility Project is a series of events throughout Minnesota designed to engage the younger generation and teach them the significance of decorum, kindness, civility in today's society. This is what we do here in GL. This project emphasizes values that are more important now than ever. Put down the phones, make genuine eye contact, and learn to walk alongside those who may see the world differently. Just another example of Freemasonry at work. The next Civility Project is going to be in Farmington and Red Wing, and we'll get dates for those out there. But if you'd like to learn more about Freemasonry, the Civility Project, visit mnfreemasons.org.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
I don't know which show it was earlier this week. We've done so many GL podcasts this week. I don't remember which one where I said I had used Bugs Be Gone quite successfully on my little road trip to Indianapolis and back. And since then, my inbox is full of people saying the same thing and saying that, yeah, we were right. All you have to do, pull into the gas station. When it's time to fill up, spray that windshield down before you do anything else. Then get the card out and engage the pump and get it going. And no, I'm not a rewards member. No, I don't want a car wash. No, I don't want to watch this video. Yes, I do want a receipt. You do all that. By the time you're done doing all that nonsense, you get back to the windshield with the squeegee thing. Those bugs have already slid down the window. This product might be the most amazing product in the whole wide world. It takes all the grief and anger and angst out of scrubbing bugs and makes it actually fun. It's a joy. It's wonderful. I love using this stuff. That's why you always keep a jug, a little spray bottle in your car, along with the Seafoam motor treatment and of course, the penetrating oil, the Deep Creep, best in the market. Keep those 3 products with you wherever you go in your daily driver. 3 wonderful products from our favorite company with our local company with a global reach. Seafoam. That's how I say it.
Thank you, Kenny. In national and international news, the Supreme Court this morning again clearing the way for the Trump administration to strip temporary legal protections from hundreds of thousands of immigrants. The justice is lifting a lower court order that kept humanitarian parole protections in place for more than 500,000 migrants from 4 countries, Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. The Supreme Court's order is not a final ruling, but it means the protections will not be in place while the case proceeds, and the case now must return to the First U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Boston. U.S. Appeals Court temporarily reinstating the Trump administration's reciprocal tariffs yesterday, while it reviews a lower court ruling blocking the new import levies. That all comes a day after the U.S. Court of International Trade had ordered the administration to stop most of the tariffs, including the 10% baseline import tariff. The ruling argued President Trump exceeded his authority by using a 1977 emergency powers law to impose tariffs. The president has used the tariffs to lure manufacturing back to the U.S., potentially reducing federal deficits and gaining leverage to negotiate more favorable trade deals.
Because Josh brought this up in his report the other day, and I know you guys all heard it, but I just want to repeat it, about the Apple tariff, okay? Mm-hmm. Apple does a ton of business overseas. Obviously, they do a lot of their manufacturing overseas as well. But if that type of tariff, let's just say, causes Apple to bring, 30% of those jobs to this country, is it not worth it, in your guys' opinion?
I have no idea. I'd have to take what Josh said.
Okay. I was just curious if you guys...
Yes.
Whatever Josh said when I heard.
Well, Josh is a big Apple investor guy, so he was pretty PO'd at the president for imposing or suggesting that this might be coming. But anyway. Okay.
The White House this morning said it will fix errors in a much-anticipated federal government report spearheaded by U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Kennedy's wide-ranging Make America Healthy Again report released last week had cited hundreds of studies, but a closer look and analysis by several news organizations found that some of those studies didn't actually exist. Asked about the report's problems, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the report will be updated. Apparently part of the problem, the folks going through the report says it appears AI was used to write the report.
Shut up.
Meanwhile, Kennedy Jr. said he will ban government scientists from publishing in leading medical journals and proposed creating what he called an in-house publication by the department. He said in a podcast, we are probably going to stop publishing in The Lancet, the New England Journal of Medicine, JAMA, and other journals. The 3 publications Kennedy named have published original peer-reviewed research since their foundings in the 1800s. They are all consistently ranked as the top medical journals in the world and are critical in sharing scientific information to millions of people across the globe.
I just can't help but feel that much of what we're hearing from this administration would be revolted against if Harris was doing it.
I didn't track with you there.
Well, what if the Harris administration said, from now on, we're not allowing any of our scientists to write for the American Medical Journal? I would imagine a lot of people would be upset.
A lot of people?
A lot of people. Yeah. Elon Musk announcing that his time as a special government employee is pretty much done starting tonight. But that doesn't mean he's leaving President Trump's circle. He said, as my scheduled time as a special government employee comes to an end, I'd like to thank the president for the opportunity to reduce spending. Musk had originally said he could save $2 trillion through Doge. He cut that to $1 trillion later. Actually, savings now are a small percentage of that. $170 billion has been cut, according to Doge, but fact-checking by various news outlets has found discrepancy in errors in what Doge has listed as savings, making that number even smaller.
How come he gets away with being a drug addict?
What do you mean?
Boy, did you see that report?
I saw the headline. I didn't read it. What kind of drugs was he taking?
Ketamine, Adderall,
LSD,
whatever he get his hands on.
Ecstasy.
Doesn't sound recreational. Jesus. It almost sounds for sustainability.
Well, what does he suffer from? What's his ailment?
You name it, he's got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that
according
have
to him? Does
that have anything to do with?
I have no idea, but I thought you weren't supposed to take a lot of ketamine.
Okay, I don't know.
It's horse tranquilizer, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that what Ed Muskie was on during the election? In the
Mr. Ed?
72?
I don't know. Well, I shouldn't say drug addict. I should say alleged drug addict.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A Swiss alpine village was largely wiped out after a massive glacier carrying rock and debris detached and
Did you guys see that video?
Yeah.
Woof. Roared down the mountainside, destroying everything in the path. Scientists had predicted a likely disaster. Luckily, authorities evacuated the entire village of 300 people south of Switzerland's capital, Bern, May 19th. Even grazing cows and sheep were airlifted by helicopter. One person, a 64-year-old man, has been reported missing, according to police. They have temporarily suspended the search for him due to dangerous conditions. The Birch Glacier was different from others, according to officials. The only glacier, they said, that had been advancing for the past decade. All the others were receding. Its advance was due to the rock face breaking off above it, which dropped boulders on it, adding weight and pressure.
I think it's the little village where Heidi lived.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Yeah. And unlike in St. Louis,
I got him for a change.
Sure you did.
Yeah. Right.
And unlike in St. Louis, this village was actually warned that this might happen.
Right. Remember
Heidi? You were kidding there, Joe, right?
But it looks like the type of village where Heidi lived.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the St. Bernard with the keg.
Yeah.
The whole deal.
Don't you look at some of those Swiss villages, and even in Italy and France, and you wonder, why would you build a town at the bottom of a mountain?
No, I look at some of those villages and think, man, I'd like to live there.
And get pummeled by an avalanche?
Just avalanche, essing your pants every winter over avalanches and stuff like that.
I had my skis.
You are so neurotic, there's no chance you could live at the base of a mountain.
I'm not neurotic.
You wouldn't even take your luggage out of the cab. You'd turn it around, take me back to the airport, not staying here.
Your season ticket at the X had to be at an aisle so you could get out of it.
Well, I had, listen, if it was good enough for Heidi, it would have been good enough for me.
You serious, Clark?
Yeah.
He had a special kind of ticket where he only, he could only use it for the second period. So he would get there late, sit there for the second, and then somebody else would take his seat for the third.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice seat you got there.
Mm-hmm.
Florida officials have approved new rules allowing commercial trapping and the legal sale of live iguanas outside the state. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission voted to amend state regulations giving licensed individuals permission to catch green iguanas from known population zones. Those captured can now be sold to approved buyers based outside the state. It's intended to support statewide removal efforts while creating an outlet for legal sales that may help limit the species' expansion. Green iguanas, originally from Central and South America, have spread rapidly throughout Florida due to both the exotic pet trade and the favorable climate. Their burrowing often weakens infrastructure, including seawalls and sidewalks, and they pose a threat to native plants and smaller wildlife. Additional rule changes clarify how juveniles of both green iguanas and tegus must be caged, define standards for the legal sale of live specimens, and outline how enforcement officers can place seized prohibited species within qualifying facilities. While the new measures are intended to reduce environmental damage, some experts warn that without proper oversight, the rules might lead to increased trapping activity that might be difficult to monitor. State officials are encouraging residents to learn more and offer feedback by looking at the agency's website. The hope is the collaboration between the public and regulators will support ongoing efforts to protect Florida's ecosystem.
Do iguanas eat snakes, or is it vice versa?
I'll look it up.
They sound like the woodchucks of Florida, where you just sit on your porch and shoot them.
Yeah, but I thought the snake problem was worse than the iguana problem.
If you're a homeless guy, are you going to want to move to Florida where snakes and iguanas are doing battle?
You know where I'd go? I'd go right near Mar-a-Lago.
Most iguanas are herbivores, meaning their diet consists primarily of plants like leaves, flowers, fruits, and other vegetation.
So they would
do
seem
not eat snakes,
predisposed
typically.
not to go after a snake. Yeah. Because they got some big snakes there.
They are opportunistic
Alligators,
eaters and may occasionally consume small animals like insects and tiny lizards.
Well, they're not taking on a snake, no.
They have, a couple times a year, don't they have a hunt where you can go and you bring the snake back and you get $100?
Oh, you're thinking of the snipe hunt.
What about the honey badger?
Snipe hunt.
Honey badger, he don't
give
care
a bleep.
about nothing.
No, he doesn't care.
And creepiness in Brazil. This story, don't watch these videos. Videos featuring emotional moments with hyper-realistic fake baby dolls have sparked both online fascination and political debate in Brazil, with lawmakers even bringing the lifelike dolls into the legislature to care for. These are dolls. They're actual dolls. When you see it, it's...
Is this nonsense that you guys did this week with an old Joe and Pat video? Is this the same?
No, this is, I believe, these are actual dolls, correct, John?
They're actual dolls. Yeah, people are carrying them around like babies.
Why, John?
And then they wash them at home. Like, well, who knows? Because people are weird.
That's a good answer. Good answer.
They do. And this is a long story. I won't read you the whole thing, but they do things like birth simulations. They take them to shopping malls.
I'd like to see the prep for the birthing situation.
Jesus.
Bring in the Crisco, Marge. Let's go.
In Rio de Janeiro, the city council is...
Deep breath.
All right. Bring in the Crisco, Marge.
Now turn on your side here. Hang on.
Yeah.
Well, John, I almost envisioned that this is almost like when someone brings a therapy dog on an airplane, right? Isn't that what this is, kind of that same bit?
I guess.
These are disturbed human beings.
Yeah. Listen to this. In Rio de Janeiro, the city council has passed a bill honoring those who make the lifelike dolls.
Oh, boy. What's he going to go for over there on sound?
Meanwhile, legislators elsewhere across the country have debated fines for those seeking medical help for such dolls after a video showed a woman taking one to a hospital.
Rook, let me ask you a question.
Thank you, John.
No. We got to dive deep here. Rook, let me ask you a question. You have two young men, one that's married, one that's got a very lovely girlfriend. Yep. What if one of them came home one day and brought home, Tina, and Tina had herself a therapy doll?
It'd be a lot cheaper.
We'd have to set another place at the picnic for that therapy doll.
Well, good point.
Yep.
Did baby get fat?
Yeah, let's
the baby over
yeah,
here.
there we go. Come on, your turn to share.
Yeah.
It's an all play. You have to answer correctly.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for supporting North American Banking Company.
I do.
Look at Rookie. He's rocking the shirt today for North American Banking
but
Company.
look, is it weird on camera?
No,
It's like I have a weird...
You're weird.
I think it's your giant farmer fathead.
Okay, that good.
Yeah.
And
Anyway.
the gray, my hair matches the
It does. It's a nice quarter zip.
Bilski did a good job with that.
Do you have a man bun or a pony going in the back of your head, Matthew?
No.
Show us the back of your
Got
head.
some good salad, though.
All right. Okay, I was worried.
I could get one if you want one. Maybe by the end of the show, I'll work on it.
North American Banking Company has 6 wonderful Twin Cities locations to serve you. It's Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and Maple Grove. They do offer all of the services as the other big national banks. It doesn't matter whether you're looking to buy a home, maybe finance a new home renovation project with a home equity line of credit, or get that new car that you've been thinking about. Either way, my friends at North American Banking Company and their experts are going to be able to help you out. They also offer all of the same online and mobile banking options as the other banks, but the key difference is you're going to get the unparalleled service of a community bank. And they are also locally owned and operated. And here's why that's important. That means loan decisions are made right here in the Twin Cities. They are not sent out of state. So this helps you business owners solve problems quickly and expand your business with confidence. You see, they first opened back in 1998, and they made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers where you know your banker and they know you. And while a lot has changed since then, this commitment stands true today. So check them out online. It's nabankco.com to learn more. It's banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender.
Finally. Thank God today is Friday. TGTI Friday. It's the scramble.
Yeah. Before you all start stepping on each other, are we supposed to be giving something away to a council person today?
I just want to make mention that the scramble is brought to us by our good friends at professionalturf.com.
Isn't that
No,
I did not get a Masters Maples winner certificate notice.
Neither did I.
Well, why don't you get this notice then? Okay. Your garage floor. It must.
Mine's got a lot of varnish on it right now.
Yeah, you're going to make spills on it. You're going to do all
and
sorts of stuff.
footprints.
Yep.
But if it's hideous right now, you need to call Innovative Garage Flooring at innovativegaragebflooring.com. They will transform your garage floor into something beautiful, something that you might want to pick out in their Blaine showroom, 763-291-0110. It's not too late to get on their appointment calendar when you've got that big garage event in your garage. Graduation party is what I'm trying to get at. You might have a kid graduating, and it will be ready, and you will be the talk of the town. Answer that. Tell Patrick I said hi when you pick that one up. But if you are tired of boring, cracked, or strained garage floors, then you need Innovative Garage Flooring. One of the strongest warranties in the business, 30 years history. The showroom's in Blaine, and they are going to do it right for you. They're garage logicians. So call 763-291-0110, or better yet, go online, get all the information you need. InnovativeGarageFlooring.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Yes, sir.
Do you know that the last living grandson of the 10th U.S. president, John Tyler, just died at the age of 96?
Wait, run that by me again.
Don't we have this story about once a year?
Well, I checked the date to make sure. It was dated May 28th, 2025.
Because isn't there a Minnesota connection?
Wait a minute. You mean the guy didn't just die? When did he die? John Tyler. I'll save this.
No,
I want to
looks
get
like
into
he
this.
just died. He just died.
I'm going to get into this.
Maybe it was a different grandson.
I'm going to save it, okay?
He died Sunday.
Oh, so you were right.
Yeah.
Only because I'm going to save the story because I'm
How old was
interested
he
in
when he died?
I'm going to save the story when I can.
When was he born?
96.
Harrison Ruffin Tyler.
96, Kenny.
Only because they come to us all the way from the Traveling Lyman's, currently in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. It's this day.
Joe, today is May 30th.
We didn't do squat.
John Tyler died in 1862, if you were curious.
I was.
Thank you.
On this day,
May 30.
in 1871, the steamer St. Paul carried the first shipment of grain from the port of Duluth.
Yes, and where should we port this grain that we've stumbled upon in the starboard side?
On this day,
How did you arrive here? By steamboat, of course. How else?
you're called.
You're cold.
What does that mean, thin out?
Called, yeah. You're thin.
You're going to call the herd, huh? Well, Pat just called.
Well, he's had memoromania. On this day,
May 30th.
in 1889, Memorial Day became a legal holiday in Minnesota.
Love that.
And that's all we accomplished on this, the second to the last day of May. That's it. Nothing else ever happened.
Because we were busy traveling by steamer.
Yes.
If I could steal a note from Rookie's notebook here, today, May 30th, is the birthday, if we did birthdays, of my brother Tim.
We don't do them, John.
Where is he? Up in North Dakota?
He lives back in Bismarck, and he's really old today. He's 75. So.
Ooh, boy.
Ooh, he's getting close, huh?
Yeah. Happy birthday, Tim.
We don't do that.
Is it Tim?
Tim.
Yeah.
Timothy.
Is Tim the news guy, John, or is that your other brother?
No, that would be Dick.
Gotcha.
Richard.
Okay.
What about Rick?
He's at 3M.
On this day in Minnesota sports disappointment history.
Do you know that my mom texted me, and my mom believed it.
Yeah.
She believed it. I didn't know this. Who is this Rick? So she got played too. So you don't have to feel so bad.
Well, I didn't really feel that bad.
Oh, I thought you thought about it a lot.
John, are you the youngest in the family?
I am. I'm the baby. There's a sister.
Did you get a lot of little pats on the head and they'd say, "Oh, okay, funny guy, you go play your guitar, buddy."
Kind
You
of.
get a lot
I
of
get
that.
a lot of those. And I also got a lot of, boy, mom and dad, they don't to discipline you at all.
You got away with everything.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Were you a tattletale? Did you get your ass kicked for telling on them?
This.
No, I never. I got along with everybody. It was Tim actually who used to get his ass kicked by Dick. So
Nobody walked around the house going, actually.
Who are you mad at today?
well, no, I did do that actually. I've done that since I was
accidentally,
10.
if your brothers accidentally murdered somebody,
Yeah.
would they call on you to help bury the body, or would they know that you would be the wrong choice?
They'd probably think I'd be the wrong choice because they think to myself I'd have to go do the right thing and tell the police. So
Okay, so thus ends the questioning of John Heidt.
What is it?
thank you.
On this day,
I thought we were just wasting time. So Joe,
Just trying to drive
We
Joe.
fill on a Friday
I
afternoon.
was trying to finish this.
4.
Well, what are you waiting for?
On this day in Minnesota sports disappointment history.
On May 30th.
Well, on this day in 1991, then the NHL dispersal draft let the San Jose Sharks take half the North Stars roster.
I remember that.
I don't think the local club has recovered since.
No.
Yeah, they moved to Dallas.
Well, ultimately.
Right.
Thanks for
I
pointing-
did not know they took half the roster. I knew there was the draft, but I didn't
remember
realize that.
How many players did the stupid Las Vegas scumbags take from us? At least 3.
Yeah, they got
they
a
got-
couple. You're right.
Well, here's the deal. These franchise fees are so outrageously expensive.
How outrageously expensive?
That the taste they throw back to the guy paying all the money for a new club is to make sure he gets some good players.
Yeah.
John Tyler had 15 children.
Well, maybe I
With
won't.
one wife? Did she turn that many out? That poor
No,
woman.
he had they got married in 1813. She died in 1842.
From exhaustion.
And then he found Julia Gardenier in 1844, a couple years
She
later.
spit out another 7, 8, huh?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Wow. Poor woman.
Thank
Must
you.
be Catholic, huh? They can't quit.
let's
They
see.
just can't
Yeah,
stop.
Doesn't say.
Thank you very much, GLers.
That's all you guys do.
You birthers.
Yeah.
Please do us a favor if you have not done so already and hit up the Garage Logic YouTube channel. Yes, on that YouTube channel, you can watch the show each and every single day, starting right around noon. And you can also see full segments. There's video shorts, there's behind-the-scenes footage, there's news from the Krabby Coffee Shop, the Weekly Scramble, Monday Night Sports Talk. It's all there for you. Just search for Garage Logic on YouTube. And you can find us on all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And sign up for the Daily Logician. That email, it comes right to your inbox each and every single day, and it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. You got any big plan for the weekend?
None of your business.
Let's party.
Weekend cha?